We're playing Poison Storm in Legacy, Prologue to Phyresis alongside Radstorm. Really, it's just High Tide Combo. Let's go check it out. This is Legacy High Tide, and it comes as a donation deck from Dylan Clow, and Dylan really wanted to see an updated version of this deck here on the channel. I've played it in the past, but Dylan wants to see a version optimized for the current metagame. That's what we're doing here today. So if you're unfamiliar, High Tide is a 1-mana blue instant that says all of your islands tap for an additional blue. You can often find it using Merchant Scroll, but if you don't happen to find it, you do have Sapphire Medallion. This reduces some of the stress that the deck puts on finding exactly High Tide. And then Cloudifairies and Snap both make mana when you have High Tide, but additionally when you have Sapphire Medallion. So making mana, untapping our lands, that's the goal. From there, you would ideally play Prologue to Phyresis, giving your opponent a poison counter, and then with Radstorm you would proliferate those poison counters. I talked about Merchant Scroll finding High Tide. It also finds both halves of Prologue to Phyresis and Radstorm. But if you don't have the storm count yet, you do have Time Spiral to generate mana and cards, so that way you can get to that storm count. But you also have Mind's Desire. So the deck is dynamic and it has a lot of ways to play. If you happen to play Force of Will, exiling either Prologue to Phyresis or your Radstorm, you still have Granted. This allows you to get the Radstorm or Prologue to Phyresis out of the sideboard. It can also find the Mind's Desire. That's the idea. That's the deck tech. Hopefully Dylan appreciates these updates, and if you do, like, comment, subscribe. I would love for you to support the channel. But that's all I've got for now, so we're gonna hop on into match number 1. I will see you there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Round number 1 with Legacy High Tide. Let's go. Radstorm. Alright, so this hand has High Tide. We have lands. We have payoff spells. I think that this is a keep. I don't know what the opponent's playing today. They have a Daze icon. Uh-oh. And we'll see what we can make happen here. One thing I thought about for the mana base was, even though you're High Tide, would you like a Surveil land? I don't think so, because one of the strengths of High Tide is your mana base, but a Surveil land is really interesting to me. Alright, I think we keep this. Spiral on the bottom, land in the middle, and then we'll draw Force of Will. Pass the turn. Basic Plains, okay. Ocelot Pride, Energy in Legacy. Okay. We'll play the Misty Rainforest and pass the turn. I probably don't need the other Time Spiral on top of the deck, so I'll fetch that away. Okay, so now they're attacking with the Ocelot Pride. Ouch. I'm at 19. They play land number 2 and then go to the end step. Sure. We'll grab another basic. They can create their cat token. Sapphire Medallion. That's what I'm talking about. Boom. Love it. That allows us... Well, I mean, we had a High Tide plus Time Spiral next turn regardless, but the Sapphire Medallion means that I can definitely win next turn, as long as the Time Spiral doesn't fizzle. And now they flash in the dog. Okay. I had a feeling when they didn't do anything on turn 2 that they had this in their hand. They play land number 3, 5 cards in their hand. I have no idea what this is. Okay, so let's zoom in on this and read it together. So a 5 mana total, 3 white for an Angel Wizard, 4/5, flying lifelink. Alright, and then if one or more tokens would be created under your control, create twice as many tokens that are created instead and has warp. So they're going to be able to make a bunch of cats this turn? Sure. Like, I don't care about that. So now... Ooh, you can blink it with the dog. That's cute. That's really cute. I like it. Nice synergy you have going there. And another Ocelot Pride. Sure. Alright, so now they have a bunch of triggers. I'm just going to hit F6. I don't feel like clicking through these. Alright, so they've stacked their triggers. They're going to make a bunch of cats and whatnot. I don't really care, because we're not concerned with our life total. As long as it's not 0, we're okay. Alright, in the upkeep I will fetch, reduce my odds of drawing an island. Okay, we grab our island, and then we drew a land anyway. So I'll fetch, grab another island, High Tide. So you might have been saying, why not Force of Will the Angel? Well, it's because if I Force of Will the Angel, it's one less Mind's Desire in the deck, and I want as many Mind's Desires as possible. So it's not free to counter because it does reduce your threat density. Alright, so I've untapped. I could play another High Tide. Let's play the Prologue to Phyresis and poison them. We drew another Snap. I'll play Brainstorm. Put back 2 lands. And now we'll play a bunch of snaps here. Bounce the dog. Untap 2 lands. We will bounce the angel. Untap 2 lands. Tap our lands again. Let's bounce an Ocelot Pride. Untap 2 lands. Make more mana. I will turn about myself, making, even more mana here. Land, untap, make more mana. And now we'll play Time Spiral. Storm is 10. Wow, we fizzled! We fizzled! Brutal! Ah, what a way to lose game number 1. With 40-something mana available, we were not able to get the job done. That's just sad. All we needed was a Merchant Scroll. That's it. Ah, bummer. Okay, so facing energy. We likely want to bring in Echoing Truth to bounce something like Deafening Silence with the Merchant Scroll. Maybe we'll cut the turnabout. Yeah, this seems fine. Hit submit. Game number 2 on the play. This hand's really clunky. I think you're supposed to mulligan. Okay. Mystic Sanctuary as a land is a little awkward, but I think you're supposed to keep this. Bottom the Intuition. And I'm going to lead on Ponder. I could play the Sanctuary tapped, but I'd rather just start digging. We'll play Ponder. This seems fine. Keep the Force of Will in case they play Deafening Silence. Pass the turn. They tap for a white Guide of Souls. We draw the other Brainstorm. I'll play it. We know Radstorm is our top card. And we did not find another land. That's disappointing. So I'll put 2 on top, play the Mystic Sanctuary, and pass. And they have Wasteland when we have our 1 land that can be destroyed. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. I will Force of Will, exiling the Radstorm. Okay, now they attack for 1. Ouch. So I have Echoing Truth. I could Brainstorm right now, digging for the land, but I'm going to wait because next turn the Brainstorm looks at 2 additional cards to find land number 2. I say 2 because this Wasteland is going to destroy my Mystic Sanctuary. Alright, so Guide of Souls happens here, and now they can destroy my Mystic Sanctuary, but I could bounce both copies of Guide of Souls. Another Thalia. I'll Echoing Truth the Guide of Souls. Buy some time here. I do have Snap to bounce the Thalia, but I need more mana for that to be effective. So now we'll Brainstorm again. We find some lands. Put back Desire and Ponder. Play land number 3. They play Guide of Souls and another Guide of Souls. Spirit of the Labyrinth. Oh my. What a hateful deck. I'm over here just trying to cast Cloudifairies and you're acting like this? Jeez. Okay. We're in a lot of trouble. Play the land. We'll play Cloudifairies as a potential blocker. Untap, untap. Pass the turn. My top card is a Mind's Desire, but it doesn't do me any good right now. And now they play an Ajani. Sure. So they create some energy, and they get a cat. And now they're attacking. They can trigger the Guide of Souls and then make the Spirit of the Labyrinth larger. And that's what they're going to do here. Pretty sure I can't win this. So even if I chump block, there's no real way around. Plus they get to destroy my Mystic Sanctuary. So I'd have to draw 2 cards next turn, and when I can't play Ponder. So if I snap the Spirit of the Labyrinth, sure. But then I still can't beat the onboard Thalia. I'm dead. Unfortunate. So we had an opportunity game 1 and the deck did not convert. Sometimes that happens. We are 0-1. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. For round number 2, we're on the draw and we're facing someone with the username of Storm and then some numbers. I like Storm. Let's see if we're able to do it here in match number 2. So we have 4 lands. We have the Sapphire Medallion. I think that this is a keep. They play a Boseiju Who Endures. Okay. They're on lands. Okay. They play an Urza's Saga. 2 cards left in their hand. They draw Brainstorm. I'll play Misty Rainforest and pass. Urza's Saga goes to the second chapter. They play a Wasteland. No additional land. We draw High Tide. That was great. I will fetch twice here. Grab the other island. And then we'll play the Sapphire Medallion. Pass the turn. So on the end step, they can make a Construct token. And then they can untap and make another. And then with the Urza's Saga trigger, they can grab a Lava Spur Boots. So they can attack for 7 damage, roughly. Let's see if they're interested in that. They do make another construct. And they grab a Grafdigger's Cage. I don't believe that affects her deck at all. Okay, so now they'll attack for 3. They chose to not grab the Lava Spur Boots, which I think would have been pretty good here. Okay, they still have 2 cards in their hand. We draw Merchant Scroll. I'd like to start with a Brainstorm. Okay, I think we're going to try to win. I'm going to put back Mystic Sanctuary, Scalding Tarn. We'll fetch. Ouch. Play High Tide. And then we will play Cloud of Fairies. Untap, untap. So if I Merchant Scroll for Prologue to Phyresis, that would be Storm 4. Prologue would be 5. Snap would be 6. Fairy would be 7. Fave Wishes would be 8. Or Granted would be 8. Go grab another card. Radstorm would be 10. So as long as there's a card I could cast out of my sideboard, we'd be okay. Actually, I think it's better to Granted for the Prologue here. So I'll go grab the Prologue, give them a poison, snap the Cloud of Fairies, untap 2 lands. We'll play the Cloud of Fairies again, untap, untap, play Merchant Scroll, go grab another snap, snap the Cloud of Fairies, untap, untap, replay the Cloud of Fairies. This is from 10. Merchant Scroll. And we can go grab like a Force of Will here. And then play Radstorm. Actually, hold on. I can play the Fave Wishes first. And then we'll play Radstorm. Pretty sweet. And now we just proliferate on them. My one issue with playing Radstorm online is you can't just say like, you can't target them like you can with Tendrils of Agony. You have to click one target at a time, let each... I guess I can kill the Urza Saga here. That's kind of funny. And then you just have to like target each time. Like I understand how proliferate works, and this is why it works that way. I'm not, I understand it. It's just I wish there was a shortcut. I guess that's what I'm complaining about here. All right, and the opponent concedes. Lands. I don't think I even want to sideboard. I'm just going to resubmit. Game number 2, we're on the draw. I have a hand where all we need is lands. So this should be a keep. I'm just a little nervous that we're not going to draw the lands because we're only playing 16 today. And Dylan did not want to play Lorien Revealed, which was in my previous list. So we're playing no Lorien Revealed 16 lands, which might be a little bit low. It does make me nervous. Like if this Intuition was a land, I'd be so excited about this hand. It's just not. So we'll see what we can make work. They have a Mox Diamond. They might upkeep Disruptor Flute. Okay. And they name High Tide. Snap was a decent draw if we weren't going to draw land, because it does work well with Cloud of Fairies, but the thing is I need lands. They play Once Upon a Time, and they find a Wasteland. Lava Spur Boots. Alright, deck, I need lands. There we go. I did not board in an Echoing Truth, so what could I do here? I think I'm going to Merchant Scroll for the Prologue to Phyresis. It's a cantrip, but it also allows Radstorm to be a little more successful. So I'll play the Merchant Scroll. I mean, you could also grab Brainstorm and hopefully convert the High Tide and Intuition. Like, is that better? You know what? I'll grab Brainstorm. We'll pass. Saga goes to the 3rd chapter. And it looks like they're not interested in making a construct token. They just want to merit Lodge. Another Disruptor Flute. I'm guessing this one names Brainstorm after I just showed them the card in my hand. Urkel's Recall. Okay. Yeah, you got it. Ooh, we drew the land too. That's nice. Play the Brainstorm. We find Sapphire Medallion. That was a huge pickup. We don't need 2 copies of Mind's Desire. And I think you're supposed to get rid of the High Tide. And we'll play the Sapphire Medallion this turn. So next turn I can float 1, play Cloud of Fairies. I think I can Desire for at least 3. They're passing. Ooh, they're increasing my storm count. Nice. Force of Will, the Force of Vigor. We will exile Intuition. Love that. Thank you for increasing my storm count. We draw another Mind's Desire. I will play the Cloud of Fairies. It triggers, and now we'll untap 2 islands. Tap again. We will snap the Cloud of Fairies. Oh, earlier I said at least 3. It was at least 4, because the snap Cloud of Fairies snap plus Desire is 4. Okay, and now we will play Mind's Desire for 6. No High Tide needed. We reveal Ponder, Merchant Scroll, Force of Will, another Ponder, another Mind's Desire, let's go, and High Tide. So we'll play Ponder. We'll take the Polluted Delta. I would like a land. And then we'll fetch. I cannot play the High Tide even though it's free because it costs 3 more due to Disruptor Flute. We'll play Ponder. Interesting. I think I'm supposed to take this Cloud of Fairies. Play Cloud of Fairies. This will make a mana. Play the Merchant Scroll. We're pretty close to winning with Prologue 2 here. I'll grab the Prologue to Phyresis. Play it. Storm is 11. And we'll Mind's Desire for 12. Okay, so I've revealed some cards. Nothing too crazy here. But the snap to bounce the Cloud of Fairies will give me enough mana to play Radstorm, which is all we needed. Alright, I will play Snap, targeting Cloud of Fairies, untap 2 lands, play the Sapphire Medallion because I can, and then we will snap the Cloud of Fairies, untap, and now we'll play Radstorm. Storm 16. Looks like we're getting a match win! Through double Disruptor Flute. Nice. We're now 1-1. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $15.99. This token combo pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens featuring classic Storm and Mana tokens with new inclusions such as our modern Ruby Storm package, but that's not all. Our token pack covers a variety of formats from Pauper to CDH with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. For round 3, we're on the draw. We've opened up a very good hand I will keep. So we need untap effects and a payoff, but we have 2 Ponders. We have Force of Will to slow the game down. We have both Sapphire Medallion and High Tide. There's a lot to like here. The opponent with a mulligan to 5. You have a Maya Cradle of Growth. Could it be lands again? We'll play Misty Rainforest, fetch, grab a basic island, and we'll play Ponder. Keep the Merchant Scroll and the Scalding Tarn. Pass the turn. I doubt my mic is picking it up, but it's starting to thunder a little bit. You know, classic Storm problems. We'll play Flooded Strand, fetch, and Sapphire Medallion. Alright, passing the turn. Is this a Beseiju? They've thought twice. They're not passing back. Well, they're not taking their turn, I guess, or waiting until my end step. Okay. I will go grab an island. Crop rotation. I could Force of Will this. They grab Dark Depths. So now they're representing lethal. But I can just Merchant Scroll for a snap. Or I could draw it. That works too. We will play Ponder. Ooh, that was very good. It gives me a payoff for my High Tide. Should I just try to win instead? So if I take Brainstorm. So I start on High Tide, play Brainstorm floating 1, High Tide again. I guess I don't have an untap effect. Okay, so I think I'm supposed to just pass here, then blow them out of the water with Snap. Don't you ever touch my Sapphire Medallion ever again. Let this be a lesson learned. Alright, they have 2 cards in their hand, 3 after their draw step. Ghost Vacuum, sure, you got it. End step will Brainstorm, put back the double Force of Will, fetch, and we can go grab the Mystic Sanctuary here. And let's get back Ponder? I think it's Ponder because I don't have a creature to snap. Oh, yeah, the Ghost Vacuum, that's right. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. We draw another land. Let's fetch. So we're going to go High Tide, Merchant Scroll for Turnabout, Desire for 5. High Tide, play the Merchant Scroll. Ooh, I could also grab the Intuition, and then Intuition for Cloudifairies, because that's an additional storm. Is that better? Yeah, let's do it. One more storm. Target you with Intuition. And now we grab Cloudifairies, and a third Cloudifairies. Alright, so they've given us a Cloudifairies, we'll play it. Untap our lands. And now we'll play Mind's Desire. Storm is 6, and we have 3 open mana. Alright, first card is a Polluted Delta, second card is Sapphire Medallion, Merchant Scroll, Radstorm, Snap. I believe that does it. We'll play the Sapphire Medallion. Merchant Scroll for Prologue to Phyresis. Tap for a blue. We'll play the Prologue. Snap the Cloudifairies. Untap. And the opponent concedes. Prologue Radstorm. Let's party. Alright, so I didn't sideboard last round. Honestly, I don't even know if I want to here. Could board in the Echoing Truth in case of Disruptor Flute shenanigans. The issue is I like every card in my deck. Like, there's nothing I really want to take out here. Yeah, I'm just not going to bring in the Echoing Truth. Resubmit. Game number 2, we've opened up a wonderful hand. We'll keep. They lead on Mox Diamond. Gets rid of Wasteland. First turn, Urza Saga. Turn 1, Disruptor Flute. Sure. They name High Tide. We'll play Island and Ponder. I think we shuffle this. I don't have a Cloudifairies, or else I'd probably keep it. They have Wishes. Ancient Tomb. So they can start making constructs. Another Flooded Strand will fetch. Play the Sapphire Medallion. Go to the end step, they'll make a construct. 3/3 already. And let's see if this person grabs the Lava Spur Boots just to put the clock on. So if they grab the boots, that's 11 damage coming in. They grab an Expedition map. Okay. Another Disruptor Flute. Hateful. Another one on High Tide. Sure, I will not cast High Tide. I'm at 13. They have 12 damage on the board. Let's play Prologue to Phyresis. We draw Cloudifairies. That was pretty good. We'll play Island. Let's play Fae of Wishes as a blocker. And then I'll Merchant Scroll. This will grab Snap. Pass the turn. This saga now goes to the second chapter. They play a Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth. So you have to block here. You might be saying, Bryant, you're at 13. This is only 12. They can make another construct, and then that would deal me lethal. We don't want that to happen. So I will just block here, and now we can try to Mind's Desire and win. I was really hoping to draw a spell this turn that I could cast. We'll fetch down to 5. I mean, I could Mystic Sanctuary, put Ponder on top. They could Crop Rotation for Wasteland. I'll just grab an Island. We'll play Cloudifairies. Untap. Snap the Cloudifairies. Untap. Play Cloudifairies again. Untap. Mind's Desire for 4. Alright, we're going to need another Mind's Desire here, most likely, or a Time Spiral. Radstorm, they already have 1 poison. Ponder. And another Sapphire Medallion. We'll play the Ponder for free. This is Storm 5. Okay. So if I take the Time Spiral, play Sapphire Medallion, Cloudifairies, I could actually Spiral here. So we'll do that. Take the Time Spiral. Play the Cloudifairies. Untap, untap. Play the Sapphire Medallion. Who needs High Tide, really? And now we'll play Time Spiral. Untap my lands. So I could play the High Tide here. I think it's just way funnier to win without it, so that's what we're going to do. Play Cloudifairies. Untap. And the opponent concedes. So we've beaten lands twice without High Tide. That's pretty awesome. We're now 2-1. The Gold Sabertooth times the Epic Storm collection has arrived with 3 full-size tokens showcasing the beloved Dark Ritual, CDH Rogsai, and Legacy of the Epic Storm for just $5. On the backs of these tokens, there's a place for my signature or a custom message. In addition to these sweet tokens, a friendly reminder that all orders that ship from theepicstorm.com also come with a signed Storm token from yours truly. Round number 4, can we get another win? We're on the draw again, but we've opened up a relatively good hand. Misty Rainforest. Could it be lands a third time? I certainly hope so. No, it's just a mere reanimator. How boring. Okay. We're High Tide heroes. I even wore the shirt today. And our opponent just straight villain energy playing Dimir Reanimator. We draw Ponder. We'll play it. Ponder on the stack. High Tide Snap Time Spiral. I mean, that seems wonderful to me. Pass the turn. They play Scalding Turn and Lotus Petal. Maybe they're not Dimir Reanimator. Cabal Ritual. Okay, so they're Storm. Oh, they're Doomsday. That's less cool. Okay. No Brain Freeze in my deck. And it looks like they're passing the turn. So, let's see what they have. 1 Force of Will, 2 Force of Will, 3 copies of Force of Will. So they have 1 Force of Will in their hand already. So I would need to find... So I could Merchant Scroll for my own Force of Will here. It's just, I don't think that keeps me alive long enough. But maybe it delays them. We'll grab Force of Will and pass the turn. And they already have the Cavern of Souls. So if they built a Cycler pile, there's nothing I can even do to interact here. And it looks like that's what they did. Yeah, just a classic Cycler pile. Nothing I could have done. Okay, so we lose game number 1 to Doomsday. My opponent's still a villain. We'll bring in Consign to Memory and Flusterstorm. The question is, what are we taking out to become this interactive? Most likely the Intuition. Yeah, like, I just don't know how you sideboard in 5 more cards. I need to figure this out. Maybe the Turnabout? And now a playset of something else? This is going to seem crazy, but I wonder if... Maybe it's just the Sapphire Medallion and you lean harder on High Tide? Yeah, that's probably it. Okay, we'll do this. Sapphire Medallion also encourages you to tap out when I'm bringing Consign to Memory and Flusterstorm, so you don't really want that. Game 2 on the play, this seems fine. Keep. Play the Misty Rainforest, we'll pass. They have a Flooded Strand. We draw another Snap. I could use a Cloudifairies. They search out an Undercity Sewers. Surveils away Dark Ritual, so they either have one or they want to play a slower game. And they Ponder. They did not shuffle off the Ponder. Land number 3. Not the worst draw, but I could still use a Cloudifairies. I could see it on my mic that time. The Thunder is starting to pick up. And now they play Duress. So if I Flusterstorm, they could pay for Duress. I just have to let this resolve. They take Mind's Desire. That's surprising. Okay, I wasn't expecting that to be their choice. Land number 4, we'll pass. They play Cavern of Souls. We draw Force of Will. So I could try to win here. I think I'm going to pass, though. I could also try to Mystic Sanctuary back the Desire, but I don't think that's a good move. They now use Personal Tutor. I think they probably should have fetched first, because now if I try to win, and they have to fetch to pay, they lose the Doomsday. Another Flusterstorm was a good draw. So I could High Tide play Time Spiral, but I wouldn't have Flusterstorm back up, so I think I'm supposed to pass. They have 7 cards in hand. They play Lion's Eye Diamond. We draw another Time Spiral. I think I just go to cleanup. Get rid of a Snap. They play Thoughtseize. I'm going to let it resolve. Whatever they discard, I can then get back with Mystic Sanctuary. They take away a Flusterstorm. Alright, we'll fetch, grab Basic Island, fetch again, I go to 18, grab Mystic Sanctuary, target the Flusterstorm. Alright, we have redrawn Flusterstorm, pass. We know one card in their hand is Doomsday, and they're going to just pass the turn. We draw Consign to Memory. I mean, it was a good draw. I just really want land number 5, though. Guess I'm asking for too much. We'll discard Time Spiral. They play Ponder. They did not shuffle, and they drew land number 5. They still have 7 cards in their hand. We draw land number 5. I think I'll pass. They now brainstorm, and they find another land. Mind's Desire. I mean, we could try to Desire here. I just don't know how good it is. Play High Tide. They fetch in response, and they allow it to happen. So we'll Time Spiral. I guess I should have floated blue mana, but they're likely to interact anyway, so I could still float 2 blue here. They daze the Time Spiral. Maybe this was a bad idea. Float 2 blue. We'll pay 1. Time Spiral back on the stack. They're now fetching with Polluted Delta. They cycle Street Wraith, okay. I mean, your hand has to have counter magic in it. They Dark Ritual in response, sure. Storm is 4. They hardcast Force of Will. I will Force of Will back, exiling Snap. And now they Flusterstorm. So their Flusterstorm will win because I have less mana than they do. Our opponent messed up. They put all of the copies except for 1 on Time Spiral. They should have just targeted the Time Spiral. Okay, so now with this Flusterstorm, they have... I guess the 1 Fluster does beat me, because I could put 4... I guess I could make them discard their hand, or I could put 4 and 4. I'll Flusterstorm back here. I'm kind of hoping that they mess up, because I think I'm dead if I pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then same targets. So Flusterstorm is now resolving. They did not pay for any of the Flusterstorm copies. So now this one, they're starting to pay for the Flusterstorm on Force of Will. Alright, now Force of Will counterspell my Time Spiral, and I have to pass. We know that they have Doomsday in hand. So best case scenario for me is that they have to pass the turn after they Doomsday, and then I have Consign to Memory available. But they cycled the Street Wraith in the middle of that interaction, so I'm guessing that they have another cantrip. Doomsday resolves. I have to hope that their hand is just like interaction spells, and then my Consign to Memory beats them. There's 1 Street Wraith. There's no Edge of Autumns. They could have boarded them out, but I see 2 Street Wraiths here. I'm also dead to just like a Ponder or a Brainstorm. Like, there's a lot of things that kill me here. Alright, Doomsday's done resolving. They play a Lotus Petal. 2 cards left in their hand. 2 blue mana. 3 blue mana. Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. I cannot Consign to Memory that. Even if they had passed the turn, I cannot consign Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. So they'll mill 2 and draw a card. They mill over Thassa's Oracle. They cycle Street Wraith. So they're on a 4 Street Wraith list, or at least 3. That's interesting. Now they cycle the Edge of Autumn. And another Edge of Autumn. Wow. Okay, triple Street Wraith. You don't see that too often these days. That's interesting to me. So we lost the match. Bummer. We're now 2-2. The best Legacy podcast? That would be Eternal Glory, featuring myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Brian Koval and Phil Gallagher. We're available on all major podcast platforms and YouTube. The 5th and final round on the play. This hand would be good if we had a second land. I think you're supposed to send this back. Bummer. This is fine. We'll bottom 1 Time Spiral. We'll play Polluted Delta, pass the turn. Misty Rainforest. They play a first turn Delighted Halfling. Okay. Cloud of Fairies. That was a good draw. Now I just want any other blue cards, so that way we can protect the Time Spiral. Misty Rainforest. They grab a Savannah. Keen-Eyed Curator. Sure. So this is obviously Nadu combo. End step will fetch. I'm fetching just the thin here to reduce the odds that I draw another land, because we need a blue card. Okay. Let's see it. There we go. Play Island, High Tide. Play Cloud of Fairies. Untap our 2 lands. Time Spiral. Storm is 3. We have a Force of Will to back it up. And it looks like it just resolves. Okay, we'll untap our lands, play Sapphire Medallion, Brainstorm, put back 2 lands, Merchant Scroll. Now we can grab a Snap to bounce this Cloud of Fairies. Alright, pick up the Cloud of Fairies floating a blue. Untap our 2 lands. Play the Cloud of Fairies. Storm is now 8. Untap, untap. Play the Ponder. More High Tide. So I could take the High Tide, these tap for 9. I could Intuition for Desire. So I think that works. We'll play High Tide. Play Merchant Scroll. Grab the Intuition. Intuition targeting them. And now we'll grab Mind's Desire. Alright, I've shown them 3 copies of Mind's Desire. And now we'll play Mind's Desire, Storm 13, floating a blue mana. Alright, so we have some lands, Snap, Brainstorm, Radstorm, Ponder, Merchant Scroll. So Merchant Scroll for the Prologue to Phyresis, and then Radstorm does it. So we'll play the Merchant Scroll, grab the Prologue to Phyresis, untap my Cloud of Fairies, or pick up my Cloud of Fairies, I should say. Play the Sapphire Medallion, and now I'll play the Prologue to Phyresis. They've been poisoned. We'll play Radstorm. Turn 3 win. That's not too shabby. And the opponent concedes. Nice. So we're 1 game away from a positive record. I like that. Facing Nadu combo. I don't think you're supposed to bring in Consign to Memory or Fluster. I have seen Deafening Silence in these decks, so I'll bring in the Echoing Truth. Maybe shave 1 Time Spiral. Our opponent's taking a mulligan. We will keep. First turn Karakas and Deafening Silence. I think I'm going to let this resolve because I already have the Echoing Truth. Radstorm was the draw. We'll play Ponder. Keep these. This was pretty good. Nomads and Core. And they missed their second land. We'll play the Scalding Tarn so that way we can fetch away the land that's on top of the deck. Play Sapphire Medallion. That resolves. They paused on it like they have Force of Will. So one thing we'll want to do is try to find a window where they've played a instant or sorcery on their turn and then bounce the Deafening Silence then. We'll play Brainstorm. Okay, that was pretty good. What to put back? I think I'm going to put land 4 under the Ponder, which might be a little greedy, but that's what I'm going to do here. They attack, I'll go to 17. They have 6 cards in their hand. Play the Ponder. Keep this. I'm just waiting for a window now to bounce this Deafening Silence. Like Forest, Green, Sun, Zenith, and then we can bounce the Deafening Silence and win. They have 7 cards in their hand. Okay, we know our top card is Force of Will. I'm probably going to want to shuffle that one away. Well, never mind, I can't. I should have played the Merchant Scroll. Whoops. They discard a Delighted Halfling. Play Merchant Scroll. And they Force of Will, exiling Ponder. Good deal. Pass the turn. They drew Windswept Heath. Could this be the window? They grabbed Tropical Island. Carpet of Flowers, yes, they gave me the window I was looking for. Let's go. And now they attack. Post-combat, Carpet triggers. They can't play Nadu here because Carpet can't make blue and green, but they can make 4 green. That is possible. Sylvan Safekeeper. Sure. Delighted Halfling, you got it. Scythe Cat Cub. They have 1 card left in their hand. We'll bounce that Deafening Silence. Time to try to win. Another land. So this can grab the Mystic Sanctuary. I just don't know what card we would want. We'll do Brainstorm. Yes. We'll play Cloud of Fairies. Untap, untap. Snap the Cloud of Fairies. Untap, untap. So I could cycle Cloud of Fairies here and then Brainstorm, but then I could theoretically miss on mana and not be able to Mind's Desire. So I think maybe the Mystic Sanctuary didn't matter. We'll play Cloud of Fairies, untap, and now we'll just Mind's Desire for 4. Hopefully it's good enough. Force of Will, Sapphire Medallion, Misty Rainforest. Merchant Scroll. Okay. So we can scroll here. If I get Prologue to Phyresis, and then I can hold priority Force of Will, my Force of Will, and then Radstorm. Alright, hold control. Play Prologue to Phyresis. I'm going to continue to hold control. Target my Prologue to Phyresis. I'm so nervous about this because I feel like I'm going to mess up. Maybe I'll try doing it from hand. I wish there was like a visual indicator here, because I feel like what's going to end up happening is I'm going to end up countering my own spell and fizzling. Yep, that just happened. Why does this always happen? This happens with Pact of Negation too, which is why I don't play the sudden substitution deck anymore. Alright, I have to pass the turn. And then I have to Force of Will the Deafening Silence and hope that we get to keep playing Magic. So frustrating. I really hate the fact that Magic Online, there's no visual indicator for holding control. Force of Will the Deafening Silence. And they have a Force of Will now. Alright, we're gonna just concede. That's a bummer. That should have been a win. On the play. Alright, on the play for the third game. I was thinking about that last game in between sideboarding. I think I didn't even need to Force of Will, and I could be wrong. I'd have to go back and watch, but I think our Storm count was 8. The Prologue would have given them 1 poison, and then Radstorm Storm 9 would proliferate 9 times. So maybe I was too focused on the Force of Will aspect that I didn't even need to do. So that's a little bit of a bummer if that is how it ended up playing out. But I'm just going to try to focus on winning game number 3, because I think there's a chance I didn't need to Force of Will at all. So maybe it's my own fault, but that said, Magic Online user UI is just awful when it comes to countering your own spells. It used to be better, and then they changed it at some point. I don't know why, but they did. But it really is why I don't play those Pact of Negation decks anymore. It's just like, it's so frustrating. Not like, you just end up countering your own spells instead of like holding priority and then being able to respond. They have double Carpet of Flowers, another Cloud of Fairies. We'll play Brainstorm. Oh wow, that was very good. Put back Fae of Wishes and Mystic Sanctuary. Pass the turn. I would need it. I mean, I could try to win off 2 lands next turn, but it would be a lot better if I could draw a 3rd island. They play Brainstorm. Like, this would be a great spot if the deck had room, or if you wanted to play a Surveil land, that you would want that card. And it looks like they missed their 2nd land drop, unless they're trying to play it post-combat. No second land. Okay, in my upkeep I will fetch, grab an island, draw. Hey, we hit it. Let's attempt a High Tide. That resolves. We'll play Cloud of Fairies. The Force of Will exiling Force of Negation. Sure. We'll play Cloud of Fairies. They have 3 cards left. Another Force of Will. Wow. Okay, we're passing the turn. They have 1 card left in their hand. They did exile a Nadu to Force of Will. They make 6 green mana. They play Green Sun Zenith for 3, so that can grab them a Nadu here. Or if, unfortunately, if their deck has a Leovold, that would be lights out. I guess I have Snap. So I guess I could go Merchant Scroll for High Tide. High Tide, snap your Leovold, Mind's Desire. Like, that's a possibility. But they grab Nadu and the Cub. High Tide. Another Mind's Desire. We'll play Merchant Scroll. Grab High Tide. Pass the turn. I have to hope that they draw a blank here. Brainstorm. That's not good for me. 3 lands. Actually, a land is good for them here with the Cub. Yeah, they found a fetch. It's not good for me at all. Yeah, I needed them to draw, like, a creature that didn't matter or something. Because now they get a bunch of Nadu triggers. And they hit Nomads and Core. No way. Island. So now that triggers again. Oh, wow. They had Flooded Strand. I'm dead. I needed them to blank for 1 turn, and it did not happen. Although I might have thrown the previous game. So, I don't know. Now they play the Nomads. They hit another Nomad. I just have to hope that they somehow fizzle and don't draw into interaction. They grab Tundra. and another Nomads in Core, Force of Vigor. I don't care about that. That would have been a great draw step for them to start this turn. They had Force of Will. That's not good. So I can't bounce the... Oh, they also get to do this in my upkeep. They get to draw like 10 more cards. Yeah, we're dead. Maybe I threw game 2. It's tough to know because you can't... Like, I guess I could have rewatched. So we'll play High Tide. But like you can't rewatch in the middle of a recording, so I can't like scrub it back. So I'm just like watching it live or whatever, or playing it live. But I think the way that it worked is I would have poisoned them, and then the Radstorm would have been Storm 9, and they hit the blue card. All right, I'm just going to concede. I can't beat the Force of Will that's in their hand. So we went 2-3. It should have been 3-2. One way or another. Like, either Magic Online should have let me Force of Will my own spells correctly, or I should have been able to recognize Prologue plus Radstorm was actually just enough already. So I'm sorry, Dylan. That's on me. Sometimes Magic Online is kind of frustrating. That said, the Radstorm stuff looked decent. I liked the Prologue plus Radstorm in the main deck. It seemed fine. Hopefully you do well in your event. I liked the sideboard with Consigned to Memory and Flusterstorm. Hopefully you face a lot of lands. That's all I've got for now. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry the result wasn't slightly better, but, you know, sometimes there's human error, sometimes there's Magic Online being frustrating. Have a great day, and as always, keep storming. What you should do is like, comment, and subscribe because there's no better way to support us. And if you enjoyed this video, head over to moxfield.com and follow us there. It's truly the best deck website on the internet. We update all of our decks there regularly with the latest and greatest technology, so you're always up to date. Once again, go check out Moxfield, and thank you for watching.